guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Hey guys, I'm back, Mishel, Deception Bytes, and it is Tuesday, December 18th, and it's 7:59 p.m. And I apologize, I'm a bit of a mess tonight, but I feel like it's important for me to do this video and get back into my routine. I've had a very difficult couple of days. I lost my cat that was 21 years old yesterday. She was getting to the point where I knew that she was in pain and suffering, and sometimes our final act of kindness, it's very difficult for us, but it's best for them. So anyway, I've had to restart this, I don't know how many times, because I keep crying, but once I get past this, I'll be fine. It's just whenever I talk about it, naturally, I get upset. And but I did want to come back. I know a lot of you, when I don't post, you wonder where I am, you worry about me, and that is very sweet. But that is where I've been, and unfortunately now I've got another 21-year-old cat that is grieving itself to death. So not only that, I'm looking after a kitten here. So it's like, wow. So if you hear, whatever in the background, cat noises, you'll know what the issue is. But anyway, let's get started here. There are no Q posts, but there are certainly a lot of Q-related news items to go over. So that's what we're going to be doing. And again, I didn't post yesterday, but I didn't want to leave it for 2 days in a row because I know that a lot of you guys look for me, and I think that's awesome. I'm flattered. I'm very flattered. So anyway, let's get to it. Now, I haven't been as up on all the news as I should be because I've had my attention taken elsewhere. But I do have some things that I want to go over. And I know you guys have been sending me some things as well and keeping me abreast of some things that are happening, which I wouldn't have known about otherwise. So thank you. I always appreciate that. And especially I appreciate it over the last couple days because I haven't been able to spend the amount of time that I'd want digging in. So having said that, let's get to it. Now, there again, it's a hodgepodge of items. I just kind of travel through the news and I pick out things that I think that you should know or that you'd want to know or that, are just entertaining. So anyway, let's take a look at the first one. All right, and this from True Pundit. It says FBI official, FBI agents threatened physical harm to President Trump in missing FBI texts and other frightening communication. Now, those of us that have been following Q this last year, we know that, right? We already know that they talked about all sorts of things. Probably up to and including, well, we know that it included assassination. So they wanted Trump out of there at any cost, and we know why, because they didn't want their misdeeds uncovered. Anyway, this is much larger than just text between two FBI agents. A high-ranking FBI official confirms a number of the missing 50,000 FBI text messages, as well as other text email messages among FBI brass, reportedly discussed initiating physical harm to President Donald Trump. Can you believe that? Can you believe that's going on in America? Who would have thought it? Really, I mean, I know that we've already had one president that was assassinated, and that's one president too many, if you ask me. So it floors me. It really does. The FBI official urged the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the U.S. Secret Service, to launch an investigation of the Justice Department, the FBI, and all text messages, missing and otherwise, that threatened the president. This is dangerous territory, and all FBI text messages and personal phones should be examined, the official said. It would reveal some frightening conversations. Did FBI brass discuss the assassination of President Donald Trump? If not, what was the nature of the threats against the president from inside the alleged premier law enforcement agency in the United States? If that is the premier law enforcement agency in the United States, which it is, we're in big trouble. Thank you, Lord, that President Trump has been cleaning house there. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was much more house cleaning to be done. Director Wray wants a lid on this, the FBI official said. Many know there was talk of harming Trump politically, but there is a group here in D.C. headquarters that understands it goes deeper. We need a special counsel or Homeland Security. Somebody has to clean this up outside of DOJ. It is unacceptable. This is much larger than the just text between two FBI agents. The FBI official called on President Trump to do what is necessary to weed out corruption in the FBI. And the problem there is, I don't think Trump has any difficulty doing that whatsoever. He's shown us, right? He's got guts and other body parts, any other large body parts that I won't mention, because seriously, he's not afraid to go in and do this work. But the problem is that it gets so twisted in the mainstream media that the people, it riles up the people against him. So when he's doing what's right for the country, it looks like, because of the way it's twisted in the media, it looks like he's doing exactly what's wrong for the country. And it's so frustrating to those of us that see this happening. It's very frustrating. It's like beating your head against a wall, because you think, come on, can't you people see this? And yet they're so good at twisting it that honestly, I almost can't blame somebody for believing it. So anyway, text messages just don't disappear. No, they don't. And I would like to posit as well that I believe that those text messages aren't really gone. I think that they have them all. And I think that they're sitting on that because, I don't know until what time, but I believe that they have all those missing text messages. I really do. Anyway, text messages just don't disappear, the FBI official said. Not here. Somebody outside DOJ has to look at all emails and texts. These FBI bosses are bad people. You've only scratched the surface. The high-ranking FBI official called on lawmakers and the Inspector General to focus on the text and email messages of FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. The official referred to McCabe's official and personal correspondence an anti-Trump treasure trove. As reported in March 2017 by True Pundit, McCabe openly threatened President Trump and then National Security Advisor General Mike Flynn, saying, "First we F Flynn and then we F Trump," to several high-ranking FBI bosses who cheered his comment. That's alarming. It's alarming because you would think, that's like you being on an airplane and saying, you know what, I hate that pilot. I'm going to do everything in my power to kill that pilot while he's in flight. Who would do that? Like who? Really? Because it's like, well, wait a minute. This plane goes down, I'm going down too. But they don't seem to care about that. I mean, we're all in the same boat called America, and I don't understand why. Okay, you may not agree with the president, you may not even personally like him, but why would you not support him to the very best of your ability? It's what is best for the country. But we already know that these people are not interested in what is best for the country. So anyway, from that True Pundit exclusive, McCabe, the second highest ranking FBI official, emphatically declared at the invite-only gathering with raised voice, F Flynn, then we F Trump, according to direct sources. Many of his top lieutenants applauded and cheered such rhetoric. A scattered few did not. There was one of several such meetings held in seclusion among key FBI leaders since Trump was elected president, FBI sources confirm. at the congregation where McCabe went off the political rails and vowed to destroy Flynn and Trump, there were as many as 16 top FBI officials. Inside intelligence sources said no lower level agents or support personnel were present. If you are among the millions of Americans who have pondered in recent months whether the Obama-era deep state intelligence apparatus and FBI are working for or against Trump, this is the first definitive proof that the country's once premier law enforcement agency has gone rogue. The non-elected hierarchy that steer the FBI have declared war on President Trump and his White House inner circle. Make no mistake. We are well aware of that, and they are only amping up the rhetoric as the end of the year approaches. It's just getting ramped up to the point where it's nauseating. And most Americans at this time of year are, distracted. They're distracted. They've got a lot of things. They've got family issues. They've got financial issues with Christmas coming. There's a lot of issues, and people are working full time, and they have to get ready for Christmas and family, and they're just not as focused on the news during this period as they should be, and yet the rhetoric is being amped up so loud that it makes me wonder what is next. I literally wake up in the morning now, and when I open my eyes, I have this sense of dread. I kind of roll over, grab my laptop, and check the news first thing, because it's almost like I'm waiting for this big shoe to drop and something major to happen. I don't know if you guys feel that way. I think you do. I've talked to different friends in the States, and they seem to feel the same way. And I'm just, okay, what is going to be in the news today? Every morning it's like that. And I don't know. The whole Flynn thing, and I haven't had a chance, thank you, those of you who have sent me information on Flynn. I know they postponed his sentencing. I tend to think that this is a good thing. I think that Flynn is doing exactly what he should be doing at this point. I really do. I think he's listening to the counsel of his lawyers and so forth. And there's a reason for all this. But I just want to let you know I'm not as up to speed on that as I should be, but I'm getting there. So I'll comment more on that when I've done my due diligence. All right, so I don't think we need to read any more of this. I think we get the idea. I think we've probably had the idea for a year, but it's interesting to see it coming out. Now, let's go back. All right, now I can't remember what this is, so let me, might be something we need to see, might not. What is this? Yeah, no, that's not something we need to look at because it's trolling. I actually thought this was going to be a very good video when I pulled it up. It says Senator Lindsey Graham puts deep state in panic mode, massive secret docs coming out now, video. Well, this is one of those clickbait ones. It has nothing of the sort in it. So anyway, we're going to click off that, and I really hate it when people do that. When they say that something is contained in a video and you watch the whole thing and you go, wait a minute, I was just trolled. So anyway, there you go. Now, this is interesting. I believe this was in the news today. Could have been yesterday. My days have run together just because of everything. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez announces self-care break before congressional session even starts. This woman has not worked a day in office yet, but she needs a break for self-care. Okay. All right. I also read somewhere that she was complaining because she can't accept gifts, and she says, what's the deal with accepting $100 gift card or somebody helping me out with my rent? Well, darling, you make almost $200,000 a year. If you need help with your rent, I mean, come on. Why don't you sleep in your office at the in Washington? I don't know. I mean, I know that she hasn't received her actual first paycheck, but you would think whoever was helping fund her campaign, can't they help her out? I don't know. I don't know. I heard she was from a very wealthy family. But anyway, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez needs a break. Oh, poor baby. This probably, she's. Anyway, the Bronx bred Democratic socialist heading into her freshman term in the House of Representatives announced Monday, so this was yesterday, she's taking some time off to take care of herself before she officially starts her new job, and she's taking her supporters along for the ride. Okay, I'm taking a few days to take care of myself before what is sure to be an eventful term, the incoming New York Congresswoman tweeted. For working people, immigrants, and the poor, self-care is political, not because we want it to be, but because of the inevitable shaming of someone doing a face mask while financially stressed. So she keeps putting this out in the news that she's financially stressed. Oh, she's so financially stressed. And she just keeps, hammering away, making sure that people know that, gosh, I can't afford an apartment. What am I going to do? And, well, I don't know. What did you do before? I mean, okay. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. It's like, this woman wants to give away all our money. And she hasn't even earned any of her own yet, but she's already wanting people to give to her. She's got that mentality. Give me. I want, I need. Doesn't it remind you of that movie, What About Bob? Me, I want, I need. Yes, that's exactly what she reminds me of. Now, granted, I'm probably a little bit hardened because, of the last couple days, but really, I want to give her a swift kick in her hinder parts and tell her to put on her big girl panties and grow the heck up. That's what I want to say to her. Anyway, she's taking a few days to care for herself. What else here? Yes, self-care it's so important for working people, immigrants, and the poor. Self-care is political. Did you know that? Did you know taking care of yourself is political? Well, apparently it is, according to her. And not because we want it to be, she says. Oh, yeah, no, not because we want it to be, but because of the inevitable shaming of someone doing a face mask while financially stressed. So what she's saying is, oh, I'm having to put on a mask because I'm worried about money, and I'm worried about this money, and I have to put this face on, so I'm going to take care of myself. I'm just so stressed. So I've decided to take others along with me. As I learn what self-care even means and why it's important. This woman continues to not make sense at all. She says, I'm going to take time off for self-care. And then she says, I don't even know what that means or why it's important. But it's political. Yeah, I think. Not because we want it to be. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I've had enough of this woman already. She irritates me to death. And that's something because I am probably the most tolerant person. Really, it takes forever for me to get upset, or I'm just like that. I'm very long-suffering is the word for it. I really am, but there are some things that I can't stand. And that is one of them because I think she feels, she thinks she's entitled. Why isn't anybody paying my rent for me? Why? I need. Yeah. Okay. That's my, it's a good impression, isn't it? Yeah. All right, let's go on. Now, what is this? Oh, yes. This too will make you go, or maybe not. Maybe it'll make you want to dig your eyes out with spoons. I don't know. Dinesh D'Souza says Michelle Obama's college thesis was illiterate and incoherent. Surprise anybody? No. Dinesh D'Souza described Michelle Obama's college thesis as illiterate and incoherent. The far-right author and filmmaker launched a scathing attack on the former First Lady after she claimed that people at the most powerful organizations in the world were not as smart as some portrayed them to be. Anyone who has read Mishel's college thesis, a document so illiterate and incoherent that it was written, as Christopher Hitchens put it, in no known language, will chuckle heartily at this one, D'Souza wrote on his Facebook page, sharing a link to a Newsweek article that reported Obama's remark. And yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Speaking during a sold-out talk with Nigerian author Chiman, not sure how to pronounce that, in London earlier this month, the former First Lady said, "I've been at probably every powerful table that you can think of. I've worked at nonprofits. I've been at foundations. I've worked in corporations, served on corporate boards. I've been at G summits. I have sat in at the UN. They are not that smart." Well, tell us, Michael. Tell us all about it. Tell us how smart you are. Whatever. The 54-year-old addressed Hitchens' comments in her memoir, Becoming, which broke sales records last month and became the year's best-selling book 15 days after it was published. I don't get that book, Becoming. Becoming Michelle Obama. Well, a wig, hair extensions, I don't know, breast implants. It's not that difficult. Well, I don't know. I've never tried. I've never been a man trying to be a woman. And I've never been a woman trying to be a man. I'm just a woman trying to be a woman. It's a rare thing these days, apparently. Anyway, he tore into the college-age me. This is so funny. He tore into the college-age me, suggesting that I'd been unduly influenced by black radical thinkers and furthermore was a crappy writer, Obama explained in her book. To describe it as hard to read would be a mistake, he wrote. The thesis cannot be read at all in the strictest sense of the verb. This is because it wasn't written in any known language. Ooh, those are pretty scathing remarks. Now, that was not D'Souza who said that. That was Hitchens. But, yeah, wow. So Obama said she felt the criticism, which she described as small-minded and ludicrous, painted her as so foreign that even my language couldn't be recognized. She also felt it mocked my intellect and that Hitchens' marginalizing of her young self carried with it a large dismissiveness. Well, you know what? When I read crappy things, I dismiss it too. I'm just saying. Because I'm a writer. I'm a writer and I've got a master's in English, and you know what? I know crappy writing when I see it. I sure do. And you know what? I dismiss that person as well because I think, you know what? This is not well written at all. And that's fine because most people out on the street, they're not fantastic writers. But when you are in college and you are doing a thesis, you better make sure that puppy's well written, even if you have to hire somebody to spell check and do everything else with it, editing, which a lot of people do. Those that aren't English majors, a lot of them do. They hire somebody to edit it. But anyway, so I don't know why she's surprised by this. I mean, that is the way the academic world works. It's not a surprise to anyone except her. So there you go. This is interesting too. I didn't see this. Dinesh D'Souza here. There's a picture of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and he says, "Until now, I thought Joe Biden was the stupidest person elected to public office. Not anymore." And that is because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, if you didn't know, compared the migrant caravan to Jews fleeing the Holocaust. Yes, she did. That's true. All right. Let's go back and see what other trouble we can get into. Now, I'm going to leave this one right here for a minute because it's pretty in-depth. So I'm going to cover some other things first, just because. All right, Michael Flynn. Ooh, that's the kitten. Do you hear that? Come here. Come here. All right. She has boxed herself in with pillows and can't get out, and so anyway. All right, Michael Flynn. Thank you to all my supporters. I will continue to do all I can to bring honor to the USA. To the protesters heckling me outside the courthouse, I will pray for you. Michael Flynn. Said with a lot of class, as usual. And so he is just stating emphatically that, you know what, I'm going to continue to do what's best for the country and what brings honor to the United States. And you know what, those protesters that are heckling me out there, well, I'm just going to pray for them. I'm not going to engage in that. And you know, that it shows class. All right, and then there's this. Let me see here. There's Michael Flynn, and there's Sarah Sanders. Republicans should stand up to Comey and his tremendous corruption, for the fake Hillary Clinton investigation, to lying and leaking, to FISA abuse, and a list too long to name. The president did the country a service by firing him and exposing him for the shameless fraud he is. Well spoken as always, Sarah Sanders. I have a great deal of respect for her. I think she handles herself very well, especially, you know, facing the piranhas that she has to face. She does very, very well for herself. She's well spoken, and she can handle what's thrown at her. So I found this as well. In case you missed it, Chuck Schumer's daughter weds in Brooklyn, and there they are. Wife and wife, and so there you go. I'm not gonna delve into I'm not even gonna really comment on it. All right. But this person said the brides wore white, but hazmat suits might have been better. I don't know where that's coming from, but anyway, there, Chuck Schumer's daughter is happily married now to another woman. All right, and Donald Trump. Good luck today in court to General Michael Flynn. Will be interesting to see what he has to say, despite tremendous pressure being put on him about Russian collusion in our great and obviously highly stressful political campaign. There was no collusion. Well, how many times does Donald Trump have to say there was no collusion? They've never proven any of it, and there is nothing there, but that doesn't seem to matter. They just keep throwing out Russian collusion. I think they just do it in their sleep. You know, they probably get jostled in their sleep. Russian collusion, Russian collusion. You know, seriously, you bump into them in the street, Russian collusion. It's probably like that's all they've, you know, it's like a little wind-up doll. You pull it like Chatty Cathy. Do you remember that? That was a long, long time ago. Chatty Cathy. I think I had one. And she was chatty. Anyway, it's like that. You pull the string, Russian collusion. Pull it again, Russian collusion. Pull it again, Russian collusion. That's all you get. That's all you get from them. All right, and here is another by Donald J. Trump. Michael Isikoff was the first to report dossier allegations and now seriously doubts the dossier claims. The whole Russian collusion thing was a hoax. But who is going to restore the good name of so many people whose reputations have been destroyed? That's a very good question. Because once you destroy a reputation, you know, that is something that bothered me because I take my name seriously and I try to conduct my dealings in a way that will not cause any negativity attached to my name. And when people lie about you or whatever, and I'm talking years ago, this is nothing recent, but it damages you, and you don't get that back. You don't get that back. When people are out there, you know, and just loosely, oh, well, I heard this and I heard that, and you never get that back. You can't gather up all those words, right? You can't, and you don't know where they've gone and whose ear they found a home in. So it's awful that these people have lost reputations because of this. Just because of dirty politicians that are trying to cover their own crimes. Anyway, let's go on. Now, this I found odd, so I pulled it out because I thought, what are the chances of that? Like something weird here. Let's see what you guys think. Well, if we can ever get there. Here we go. All right. Musk, Bezos, Boeing, and the French may all fly to space Tuesday. And that's today. The stars are aligning for Tuesday to be quite the bookend to a transformational year for commercial space exploration. Four different companies have rocket launches slated for December 18th. Elon Musk's SpaceX, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, France's Arianespace, and United Launch Alliance, the joint venture between Boeing Company and Lockheed Martin Corp. Assuming weather holds up and last-minute technical issues can be avoided, it will be the first time so many rockets will fly on a single day. First up on the schedule is SpaceX, which plans to launch a Falcon 9 rocket at about 9:11 a.m. That's something else that took my attention. Why 9:11 a.m.? Do you not find that a little odd? Why not 9? Why not 8:50? Why not 9:10? Why 9:11? Just wondering. At about 9:11 a.m. local time from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida, the payload is a satellite for the U.S. Air Force, and Vice President Mike Pence has said he'll attend. And let me see here. Third up will be Arianespace, which is flying one of Russia's Soyuz rockets and launching a satellite from Europe's spaceport in French Guiana at roughly 11:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That has to have some significance too, 11:37. I can bet it does. Because, again, why 11:37? I'm just wondering, was that when one of the towers fell? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look that up now. Because it's interesting. Let me see if I can find that really quickly while it's on my mind. Time, World Trade Towers fell. Let's see if we can find that out. Okay, so no, the South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m. and the North Tower at 10:28 a.m. So. And then 7 fell at 5:21 p.m., which certainly we know didn't fall naturally. Well, the towers didn't either, but we're not on that subject. So let's go back. I just find that a very, very odd time. And that's why I pulled this out, because maybe some of you have some insight into this. I don't know. Or maybe you've heard other people talking about it and have, something to share. If so, put it in the comments below. I know that a lot of the people that listen to these do comb through the comments, so that is always welcome. Lastly, United Launch Alliance has scheduled its Delta Heavy rocket to lift off from Vandenberg Air Force Base on California's Central Coast at 8:57 p.m. These are just odd times, if you ask me. I just don't know why they wouldn't simplify it and say, well, we're going to, launch it at 9 o'clock. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. I don't have anything more about that, but I just thought it was a little bit odd. And I thought that the times were a little odd too. So why all today? What's the deal with that? Dunno. Okay, let's go back. And let me see what this is. I think it is something important, if my memory serves me correctly. I'm sorry, I'm just looking around to see where the kitten has gotten to. It's very, very strange having a kitten. I've had two 21-year-old cats, and it's just so weird to be looking after a kitten. But anyway, that's not why you're here. In court, Steele claimed his dossier was meant to help Hillary challenge the 2016 election results. Now, this was in the news yesterday, and let's look at this because it's interesting. The DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign funneled cash to ex-British spy Christopher Steele to help them challenge the validity of the outcome of the 2016 election in the event Clinton lost, according to a new British court filing. Steele, the author of the Democrats-financed anti-Trump dossier alleging Trump campaign collusion with Russia, said in court that he was hired by Democratic law firm Perkins Coie so they would be able to contest the results of the election should Clinton lose, the Washington Times reported. So long before the Democrats and the media caterwauled about President Trump's suggestion in October 2016 that he might not accept the results of the election if Hillary Clinton won, the Clinton campaign and Democrats were conjuring up an intelligence disinformation campaign to actually undo the results of the election if Trump won. Interesting. The information was initially contained in a sealed August 2nd declaration in a defamation lawsuit against Steele brought by three Russian bankers, Mikhail Friedman, Peter Aven, and German Kahn in London. The trio's American attorneys recently filed Steele's answers in a separate libel lawsuit in Washington, D.C. against Fusion GPS, the shady investigative firm that worked with Steele to dig up dirt on Trump. Fusion's immediate client was law firm Perkins Coie. It engaged Fusion to obtain information necessary for Perkins Coie LLP to provide legal advice on the potential impact of Russian involvement on the legal validity of the outcome of the 2016 U.S. presidential election, Steele wrote in a sealed declaration. Based on that advice, parties such as the Democratic National Committee and HFACC, Inc., also known as Hillary for America, could consider steps they would be legally entitled to take to challenge the validity of the outcome of the election. And so, and this is his response. So let me see what else we have here. The Democrats never filed a challenge, but the fact that it was on the table suggests that the Clinton campaign considered Trump to be a much stronger candidate than they ever let on. Now, I had my suspicions about that all along because I thought, how can she be that stupid? Because you saw the buildup up to the 2016 election and all the campaigns, and I mean, he was selling out arenas all over. And you could tell that he had very, very strong support. And I wondered, how can she be so disconnected from reality that she actually thinks that she'll win with a landslide? I couldn't get over that. And I thought, either she's not too bright or she's faking it. And of course, she was faking it because she knew that it might be an issue. So anyway, So it also suggests that Clinton was willing to do whatever it took to secure the presidency. Oh, I have no doubt about that. Probably up to and including murder. In the end, the intelligence wasn't strong enough for her to challenge the election, but it was good enough for Democrats to use it to hobble Trump's presidency with deep state leaks, media hit jobs, and a special counsel investigation. Their U.S. intelligence community concluded that Moscow interfered in the election by hacking Democratic Party computers and stealing emails that it released via WikiLeaks. No Trump associate has been charged with collusion and never will be. In a previous court filing in a second case in April-May 2017, Mr. Steele said his job was to find leaks between Trump associates and Moscow. Hired by Fusion in 2016, he wrote a 17 memo dossier alleging an extensive conspiracy. We know all about that, and I don't think we need to, I could load more, but do we really need to know more? I think all of this we know. He wrote a 17 memo dossier alleging an extensive conspiracy between the two, which 2 years later hasn't been proven publicly by special counsel Robert Mueller or Congress, and won't be. In his most recent London court filing, Mr. Steele is defending against a libel lawsuit by citing a discredited story about a computer server, Trump Tower, and a Russian bank. They never give up. They never give up. They're just going to keep hammering away and hammering away. But anyway, there you go. So even Steele admits, that the dossier was supposed to help Hillary. So there you go. For what it's worth. All right, now let's go on to this. I loved this, and I clipped it out of Twitter because I thought it was quite poignant. If we aren't being taught how to grow our own food, how to take care of ourselves and our families, and how to live without the need for huge governments, banks, or corporations as our ancestors once did, then we aren't being educated. We are being indoctrinated to be dependent and subservient to the system. I would agree with that. Because we are born being subservient to the big banks. and that's just the way it is. And I pray that one day we will be free, but that remains to be seen. All right. And here is Bill Mitchell. So Flynn's associates lobbied on behalf of Turkey for some obscure cleric no one ever heard of, and the judge lectures Flynn for selling his country out, while nothing happens to Hillary for selling 20% of our uranium to Russia in exchange for hundreds of millions. WTF. Well, yeah, that's pretty much how it works in the government right now. Like, if you're on the right, it doesn't matter what you do, it's wrong. It's wrong. And it doesn't matter if you're squeaky clean, you're still dirty. So, but if you're Hillary, well, you know, it's like greasy Hillary. I don't know why they call her, why he calls her, what does he call her? Crooked Hillary. Oh, I think she's more greasy than she is crooked. I think, well, she's definitely crooked. But anyway, she just slips through everything like she's all greased down, which don't even put that in my head. Like, don't even put that picture in my head. I'm sorry I put that picture in your head, really. But you get it. I hope nobody has nightmares tonight. I think I threw up a bit in my mouth. Anyway, let's continue. So here, George Papadopoulos, the name that I love, Papadopoulos. That's right, George Papadopoulos. Let me say it one more time. Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos. Okay, I'm not going to say it, Papadopoulos. I'm done. All right, going to be a massive bombshell when my FISA warrant is declassified. Well, we could use a bombshell, couldn't we? I could. All right. Now, I think I'm going to do another video tonight, so I'm not going to belabor this one too much, but I'm going to hit on maybe one or two other additional things, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll come back and do another video. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. All right, now this shocked me. I don't know if it's going to shock you. I, don't have a crystal ball, but it probably will. Or maybe not. I don't know. Found this a little hard to believe, to tell you the truth. 40% of millennials don't know Jesus is the baby in the nativity story. Wow. And, it's not, sorry, this kitten is like into everything. It's not that, it's just, even people that didn't consider themselves to be, don't knock that light over, no. Okay, so close. She came so close, he came so close. Okay, even people, like when I was growing up, I was around people that weren't religious per se. I was brought up in a Christian home, but I know that, I had lots of friends that weren't, but they still understood what the nativity story was about. They still had some knowledge of the Christian faith, but this is alarming. 40% of millennials don't know Jesus is the baby in the nativity story. Now, I'm not going to read all this, but there was something else shocking in here too. Oh yes, many millennials have become so detached from the underlying Christian story of Christmas, some even believe that Santa Claus is associated with the virgin birth in Bethlehem, according to a new survey. What? The survey revealed that a huge 39% did not know Jesus was involved in the nativity at all, despite the story being centered around his birth, according to the poll, which interviewed 2,000 British millennials between the age 21 and 38. Well, that might be part of the issue because they polled British millennials, and I know that Britain has been largely taken over now, so that may have something to do with it. Maybe I don't know what percentage of these people were Muslim or another faith or whatever. I don't know, but it's alarming at any stretch of the imagination. A further 37% didn't have a clue who Mary and Joseph were, while 6% said they thought Santa was a character in the Nativity. This is alarming people. It really is. When it came to knowing what gifts the three wise men brought to Jesus, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, hardly any recognized, with less than 10% successfully naming all of them, and just 51% knew who the angel Gabriel was. Millennial Craig Monroe said, "Of course I know about Jesus and Joseph and Mary, although I'm not too sure what the three wise men were doing, or the angel Gabriel for that matter. It is shocking that some people in my age group don't know the story of Nativity, but time moves on and some traditions go out the window, I suppose." Yeah, it's sad to me. It really is. When asked what they would replace the donkey that carried Jesus and Mary, 10% said a unicorn, with 15% said three wise women should replace the three wise men. Okay, well, and it gets worse. So that's that. Wanted to show you guys that because I thought, you know what, I bet you they will be as gobsmacked as I am. So now, this was interesting. I don't think I'll go out there, but it says CNN's Trump impeachment poll backfires, shows growing support for president. You don't say. And here we are, 6-year-old school children forced to write gay love letters to teach diversity. Let's go have a look at that. What do you think of that? What do you think of, you know, a 6-year-old children? You really need to be doing that with 6-year-old children? I don't have any children, but if I did, I think I would have homeschooled them. I really do, because, and especially in this day and age, because it's just getting, and I'm not saying that there aren't good schools out there. I know there are some, but there are also lots that aren't so good. A video published by the British Broadcasting Corporation shows 6-year-old school children being instructed to write gay love letters, and it's been causing a stir on social media. Gee, I wonder why. The video, originally uploaded to BBC Radio Manchester's Facebook page, shows young children at Brucey Lodge Primary School being instructed to write love letters from Prince Henry to his manservant Thomas, with the teacher instructing her pupils, "We're going to tell Thomas why it's a brilliant idea for him to marry you." The school teaches children about LGBT relationships from an early age, enthuses the BBC's subtitled commentary. The class of 6-year-olds is learning about gay marriage. In this fairy tale, the prince wants to marry his male servant. Well, there you go. And I'm not going to read the rest of that, but what do you think about that? All right, let's go on and let's see. Oh, I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, you know, this is something that I would do. Kentucky radio station plays "Baby It's Cold Outside" on repeat for 2 hours straight. You gotta love it. Seriously, you gotta love it. Whoever did that, kudos to you. A radio station in Kentucky played "Baby It's Cold Outside" for 2 straight hours on repeat Sunday morning as controversy swirls around the 1940s classic. Get out of there. The 2-hour marathon session played 5 different versions of the song. Radio station WAKY in Elizabethtown decided to play the tune, announcing on Facebook, "We're not afraid to play it." Good for you. I'm not sure why it's controversial. Joe Friedel, director of programming for the station, told local CBS news outlet WLKY, "We've played this song for years. You know, this song is older than WAKY is. It's almost 70 years old." The Christmas song made the headlines and sparked controversy earlier this year when a radio station in Ohio removed the holiday hit from its lineup after a listener expressed concerns over the lyrics. And whoever that listener was needs to put on either his big boy panties or his, or if it's a she needs to put on her big girl panties and suck it up. So sorry we offended you. Not. All right, well, I'm going to stop there. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I've got more stuff to come back, and actually it's pretty fascinating stuff, but to tell you the truth, I wanted to keep it light right this time, and I've got some other kind of heinous stuff to get into, some stuff that people sent me that I think has merit about Arlington Cemetery, and some other things that we need to get into. So hopefully I'll be back tonight with that. I hope you guys are well, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you guys more than you know.